Good morning guys, and welcome to the lockdown farm once again. We are actually on our 4th week today of being quarantined here in Spain. What we're going to be looking at today is handstand push-ups. We're going to be taking you through probably the 3 most common styles that we need in CrossFit, and that is our strict handstand push-up, our quick kipping handstand push-up, and our large deficit kipping handstand push-up. And all of these have certain qualities that we need to go through, and we're going to be giving you some pointers and some guidance on how you may be able to scale and how you may be able to start these movements. First of all, Jackson's just going to kick up to a handstand, and we're going to take you through some pointers that apply through all 3 of these movements. So Jackson kicks up. Now, one of the things in CrossFit is that we want to actually point our toes. So often what we have is a standard where your heels have to be above a certain line. If the toes are pointed, you can see that Jacqueline loses a couple of inches, nothing to do with her upper body, but just simply by getting in the habit of pointing the toes in this way, it allows the heels to come up and relax. So that standard will apply through all 3 of our movements. Jacqueline's just going to kick back up once more. The other thing as well is that we don't want to be soft anywhere, so we want to be constantly tensing the muscles. We have tension through our quads, tension through our bum, tension through our midline, and it makes it easier to move our whole body. You can just relax again. So if you guys have ever done the drill where you try to pick someone up who's floppy, it's very hard. But if that person's constantly tensing their body, they move as one unit. And that's what we want. When Jacqueline puts the force in through her arms, her whole body moves as one unit, so there's no hinges or areas that where the movement gets lost in. 1, 2, 3, and right. So this is our strict handstand push-up. And in essence, it's very similar to a squat, except that it's just our upper body that is moving. The next thing we're going to look at is the hand position. And what we want to see is the wider you go with your hands, the more you can utilise your chest. The narrower you go, the more you utilise your triceps. Now, again in CrossFit, the standards have varied quite a lot over the years with the handstand push-ups. Sometimes they have to be done within a box. So the better you get or more comfortable you get being able to be narrow, arguably the better it is for you. You just need to have a lot more strength through the tricep. But for now, we're just going to take it here once more. So what we can see here is that Jacqueline's head's slightly behind her elbows and her hands. That just gives a stable platform at the bottom. But we don't want to be too far, have too much distance between the elbows and the head, because it can make it slightly harder to push off. And also we don't need to worry about balance here because we have the wall supporting us. Obviously, one of the hardest things with the strict handstand push-up is strength. Because it's a strict gymnastic movement, we can't generate any momentum from our hips or our legs to help assist us. So our go-to scaling option for handstand or strict handstand push-ups, if we're not standing, is actually just decreasing the distance that you have to travel. The reason is really, if you want to start getting strict handstand push-ups, you have to start being comfortable pressing from upside down. So Jacqueline's just going to show this now, and it's a very simple scale. So she's comfortable in the handstand, which is the first prerequisite, and literally she's going to go down and back up, down and back up. Just relax. And by shortening this range of motion, it obviously makes the movement a lot easier. And it's also very nice, you know, right now we have a 15 kilo plate. We could go for a slightly smaller plate until she uses just the ab mat. And as you can see, you get closer and closer to being able to do a strict handstand push-up from the floor. You don't need to work too many repetitions with this if you're not comfortable. Working somewhere in 20 to 30 reps a day in a height that is challenging but doable for you. The next thing we're going to look at is the kipping handstand push-up. In our kipping handstand push-up stage 1, Jacqueline's just going to kick up to the handstand, and she's just going to show us again 3 or so reps.
Of kipping?
Yeah. 2, 3, and relax. So as you can see, the obvious difference is that Jacqueline is now using her legs to assist in the movement. So it's obviously a lot easier. Now in this stage 1 of our kipping handstand push-up, the important thing is that we're not actually utilising our hips, we're actually just utilising a drive of our legs. So Jacqueline's just going to kick up and hold the bottom position, and I'm going to bring the camera around to show you. So Jacqueline comes down, holds this position. Jacqueline's low back is still in extension, and the knees haven't passed below parallel. So this means that the rep can be slightly quicker because we don't have to travel as far distance, and it actually makes the balance easier when you're pressing up because the line of force just goes straight up, straight down. So Jacqueline's just going to show a couple of reps if you can from there. See, that's just kick, back, and relax. This is the style of handstand push-up we often go to for a workout such as Diane, where you have high rep handstand push-ups. You need to be quick, and you have the strength to maintain through all the reps. The key points are that the low back does not go into flexion, meaning we don't start to utilise the hips. And the same thing, the knees don't actually go below parallel, and that helps keep the repetition quick and means you can get out more reps in a faster period of time. We're now going to take you on to what we call our stage 2 handstand push-up, and this is either for someone who's going from deficit or someone who really struggles on the kipping handstand push-ups. And the difference that we'll see here is how Jacqueline utilises her hips in order to do the movement. Here we have a slight deficit. She's got two 15-kilo plates, which are the same height that actually she used for the scaling. So now we're kind of going the opposite direction and giving her a deficit. So Jacqueline's just going to show 2 reps. Perfect. And so what we'll be able to see now is if I bring the camera around to the side, so Jacqueline comes down, and back up, and now just hold this the bottom position now. So what we can see here that we'll be able to see a big difference is that Jacqueline's knee has actually come past the hip crease, and her low back has actually, let me just hop around the yoke, her low back has actually come into flexion. So this is going to allow for 2 things. One, it allows you to have more of a drive with your legs, and 2, it allows you to bring your hips in. So it goes a flexion extension pattern. So just kick up, and 1 more, and back. Nice. So as we go into this stage 2 handstand push-up or kipping handstand push-up, one of the things we see is that the direction that the person kicks off is probably the most common error. And the reason is because we've tilted our hip, we come into this slight curve, and then people drive out, they tend to drive out at a 45-degree angle instead of finishing the movement to come back onto the wall. So if you watch CrossFit competitions, this is where you'll see a lot of people start to fail reps, is they fully extend their arms, but because their feet don't come back to the wall, they don't get the rep. And this is something to do with the direction of where they're applying the force, especially when tired. So Jacqueline comes down, she kicks, and you can see she made that rep, but the direction is not vertical. The drive that you're doing is up towards the ceiling and not driving and finishing the movement out at 45 degrees. So there we have 3 styles of handstand push-ups. We have our strict handstand push-up, we have our stage 1 kipping handstand push-up, and our stage 2 kipping handstand push-up. In essence, the strict is the hardest in terms of physical strength because we need to have strong upper body in order to do this. We also need to be comfortable upside down. Stage 1 is the kipping handstand push-up that we will use if we want to get lots of reps in a short period of time and we have the strength to manage that. And then stage 2 is for when the deficit is challenging or when we don't have the strength left in the upper body in order to complete the reps. And what we see in stage 2 is utilisation of a lot more of the legs and a lot more of the hips. So I hope the video helped. If you have any questions or you have any comments, post them below and we will get back to you.